Maybe movies.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been thinking about it too, haven't you?
I think we need to have an intervention.
Yeah, you might be right.
Okay, before we do, then let's not waste any time.
Yes.
And let's say once again, hello, Thing 2.
Hello, Thing 1.
And welcome back to Maybe Movies with myself. My name's Max.
I'm Sam.
And this is where we take a couple of films, rip them to pieces, and put them back together, not quite in the same way, and see what we get.
Pretty much.
Most of the time we manage it by the skin of our teeth.
Yeah.
Although, on the odd occasion, things do just literally fall down.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Before we do, we're just going to do a quick shout out as we do, and this is for another one of our old friends, and again, one of our earliest supporters, to Steve-O from Red Hot Reactions, otherwise known as the Red Hot Bear.
Thank you.
Love what's going on with the channel at the moment, buddy. He generally does a lot of reaction videos, not surprisingly by the name of the channel.
Of course.
He does a lot of try not to laugh stuff.
Right. Yeah, those could be pretty good.
Always the temptation to play along as well. Do go check it out. Hope you're doing okay, dude. And anyway, sorry, we are a little bit distracted because with our setup that we've got for this, kind of run into a stumbling block. And I must admit, since the last time that we shot, this has been running around in my head.
Mm-hmm.
My main problem with the setup, and it was sort of explained myself very well last time, my reservations with it.
Uh-huh. Okay, alright.
The idea itself that No Tech are testing defense to see if it's right, that's fine.
Yeah.
The problem is if we follow, and it kind of is partly you were kind of right when you're saying that it needs to be a David Fincher film, and it kind of does. The reason the whole CRS setup works in the game is that there is not a scene in that film that Michael Douglas isn't in. We literally follow his story from
beginning to end.
Beginning to end.
Whereas we've got these subplots going on.
There are three different narratives here. Essentially, you've got Defense, you've got Prendergast, and you've got Beth.
Uh-huh.
And they all have scenes that none of the other characters
are involved with.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
It was like the idea that Mr. Lee is either being paid or is working for CRS, and Prendergast working for CRS and working from their offices. If we're following the storyline that this is all happening to Defense and we're seeing it from his point of view, we effectively lose all of that. We lose Prendergast until he turns up at the end of the film, because that is the only time that Defense is aware of Prendergast's existence.
Oh.
They have no interaction. I mean, even the bit where...
I do see what you mean, but I don't know, I consider it a part of the conceit of the film, that tricking the audience into believing that they're watching a secondary storyline when they're not.
Which again comes back to what I said last week about there's no reason for that to exist. There's no reason for that setup to exist that it looks like they're talking to a cop. If Mr. Lee is working for CRS, it would just be, yeah, he bought it, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah.
There's no reason for us to make the audience think that they are watching a cop following this through. I mean, I came up with some suggestions as to how we could alter this and still make it work. I don't know if any of them will work, though.
I was going to say, I mean, we've got freedom to alter things here. You know,
cool.
By necessity, we've already changed something, so that means other things might, by consequence, change.
Curiously enough, the first one that I came up with is we alter the setup and the narrative, and it kind of refers back to something that I mentioned when we were doing the Down.
Mm.
We make it more like a Mission Impossible type setup, where you have Defense as the mark, and then we follow the CRS team that are doing this to him, which would then allow us to allow Defense to break book if he does go completely off board, because we are then following the CRS team, that how they cope with him suddenly doing something that they don't expect.
True. It takes away the reveal, though.
It does. That's the problem, and it does make the film a bit procedural, which...
That's what I'm concerned with.
Yes.
On that.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, The other two suggestions that I had are more centred on Prendergast.
Mm-hmm.
And one goes back to what I originally said, that he is a cop. He is following this from the outside, because we know from the game that CRS have divisions around the world, including LA. He starts to see things that are similar to cases that he's handled before, which were CRS operations. Which would then allow us to still keep Defense as this guy who is the one person that they shouldn't be doing this to. Because while CRS, very well put, Thank you very much, S-Maniac, in the comments last time.
Oh, yes, did notice that. Yeah, good point. Good point.
That CRS don't make mistakes, but this is the one guy that they may have made a mistake with, which also justifies it being a movie, because it's not just a bad day for defense. It could end up being a bad day for CRS as well.
Right, yeah. I mean, I had given some consideration to this. Like, there are a couple of scenes where we could go, you know what, something's gone horribly wrong, and it's gone off the deep end. I know we're sort of jumping ahead here, folks, but we have to work this out if we're going to make any of this act work at all. Like, the bit in the surplus store, they were depending on him having lost the knife by this point, because he's been upgrading the whole time. Yeah. So him with a real knife stabbing their actor, who's probably layered with squibs because he was expected to be shot, you know, as a possible outcome, but they didn't see the butterfly knife for whatever reason, and maybe there's something they overlooked, was a possibility that crossed my mind. So that suddenly they're having to scramble to deal with it. Yeah.
That could work. I mean, my third suggestion overall, again with Prendergast, is, again, he is a cop. It is the last day of his retirement. And again, it's up to us whether we decide whether he knows about it or not. But part of this is, yes, they're doing, CRS are doing this thing for no-tech for him, for full defense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a job interview for Prendergast as a retirement job with CRS.
Oh. Right, well, I like that so much you can have a gold star. Yeah, that changes things. And that does mean we keep more of the reality of the situation. As far as Prendergast is concerned, it's real.
Yeah.
That's clever, my friend. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to save the entire movie, but that helps.
The thing is whether or not he knows that he has to try and figure this out, or whether they're just like, well, you know, we'll see how he does. You know, we'll include him in here, which again changes our focus. So the bit at the beginning when defense gets up and leaves his car, it's not Prendergast who's working for CRS; it's the traffic cop.
Of course, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all of these kind of things, and it's like whether he can figure it out, and then at the end we get the big reveal that, yeah, you've got the job or you haven't got the job, which is for us to decide when we get there.
I like it. I don't know if it'll save the movie, but it is a great way to move forward, I think.
What we were saying before about them involving Beth, and again, you were right, I kind of got things wrong in my head because I was still working on the premise that they've got her involved and their entire separation is part of the thing. It shouldn't be. They should definitely be divorced.
Yes.
But I do think the way that they could sell Beth's involvement with them on this is the same way what we were talking about with the whole point of the CRS operation in the game. It's, we're doing this as the catharsis that defense needs to move on from the breakup of their marriage.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And that's how they sell it to her.
Yeah, right, okay, yeah.
Phew, because I was really worried that this was going to go, actually, no, we have to stop it here.
Almost.
It plays into what you were saying before, that Mr. Lee is working for CRS.
Yes.
So him going to the cops is all part of their...
Of course, he needs to tell Prendergast the story so that they can involve Prendergast in their game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It works, it really works. Yes, which means we can have the meeting with the captain, you know, we have to, you know, they make me ask this shit. We can have the scene with the roadworks.
Which again, if we'd have gone with the other way that we do, like the more procedural one where we're following the CRS team, I was thinking, there is a bit of a similarity visually, facially, between the captain and Peter Graves from Mission Impossible.
I can see what you're saying. Yes, there is something there. Yeah, there could be.
But I like this one. Excellent. Oh, I can put a tick on that one then. Yay, that one works. But yeah, so all of those bits still play out. And again, as you said, the setup with the accident and those guys, that all works.
Yeah.
So we are up to... So the first thing that happens at the start of Act 2 is he wanders off.
It's the meeting with the captain. Prendergast has the...
Yes, so
it's
again...
your last day meeting with the captain.
That's all good set-up stuff, so we can keep that. Sorry, I'm just really hot. I'm going to have to take this off all of a sudden. I don't know why. It's not particularly warm in here, but I am really hot.
And then there's all the roadworks that force him to walk around.
Sorry, maybe movies now with added striptease.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la. Ooh la la. Sorry.
Control yourself.
God.
So how do we do with the scenes with Beth and the police? Because that's the one bit that sort of still doesn't quite... Is she actually talking to the police? That part of the thing with Prendergast is trying to make sure there's multiple ways he might hear about defense. About what's going on.
It would have to be.
Okay, so again, those scenes are going to look like what they are in the film.
Yeah. Watching those scenes again is kind of interesting because it shows that very much there's no characters in this art that are painted in a purely whiter than white light, really. It shows Beth isn't, she's not the damsel in distress. Little things like the thing when the cop says about, is he an alcoholic? And she goes, oh, sorry, I thought you meant the judge. Little things like that. She's not always 100% on the ball,
No, she's not, no.
Which is kind of quite nice. They do allow that all of these people have very kind of human nuances to them, which is makes them feel real.
Well, it's even in the conversation when she says, was he ever violent? Did he ever hit you? Did he ever hit your daughter? No, he never did. I just thought he might sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's one of those... So, was that her interpretation and she divorced him entirely on that basis, which might have driven him closer to the edge anyway? Mm. Was he not that person, but because of the circumstances he's experienced, have driven him to that point? Or was he always that person?
Yeah.
I always find it an interesting question.
Yes, because even then, even when you see the home movies towards the end...
He had the temper.
The inference is there.
Yeah.
But no crime has been committed, no action has been taken.
He's angry, but he's not violent.
Yeah. It's kind of left up to the audience. But anyway, we should save that for the movies, actually.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
We go from there to Whammy Burger.
Oh, it's his walk through the park and the homeless dude going, give me your briefcase.
This is the bit that we need to have a look at because
this needs to play differently.
Yes. I would see it as we get to the point where he does surrender his case and the guy opens it. All we need to do is cheek in is that he surrenders the case and the guy opens it quicker so he hasn't quite looked away and he just gets to see the pink slip to remind him that he needs to keep that.
Okay, yeah. I'm with you so far.
If we go with the idea, again, as I suggest at the end of the film, even though he doesn't know it himself, the chances are he was going to go and kill his family. And then we throw into something that from the end of the film itself as well, the idea that, well, if I die, she gets the money.
Yes.
He needs the pink slip to be able to make sure that he can still get the money for Adele.
Okay, right, okay.
So even though we don't directly say it, that's the thought process is for defense to go, actually, no, I need that.
Okay.
And so we can throw in...
A little tussle?
Yes.
Is he going to draw the knife, do you think?
He's got a bag of guns. But the knife is probably...
He's in a park full of people. He's surrounded by people at this point. You pull out a knife and it can be quite... You can conceal it.
Yeah.
Pull out a gun. Everybody knows.
It would make more sense because we know that there are cops in the park because we see them moving people on.
Yeah.
And he would have seen them because he would have walked past them. So yes, he's more likely to pull the knife than pull the guns.
Yeah. Which is sort of his job because he's a CRS guy, we're assuming. Yes?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So it's kind of his job to give it back if he's given sufficient provocation.
We could lose the briefcase and he just takes the paper.
Okay. We could do that. So in the bag of guns?
Yeah.
He loses the briefcase, but he still keeps the paper.
Yes.
So technically the game is still on.
And as long as he's got the paper, that's all he needs. He can secrete it away in the bag, put it in his trousers or whatever.
He puts all the significant stuff in the bag at that point.
He does.
He puts the little unicorn.
He does.
Everything. They all
That's
go
true.
in the bag at that point. It's like it's his safety box or something, isn't it? All right. Okay. So that we've gone through the park, and then we've got the bit when Prendergast's friends. It's not Sandra. It's the other two.
Yes.
They're interviewing the girls, the girlfriend of the drive-by guys.
Yep. And
then we have breakfast at Whammy Burger.
Mm-hmm. With, again, I hadn't noticed it the first time with Dee Pfeiffer. Sheila is Dee Pfeiffer.
Is it really? I never knew that. Are you saying is this part of the plan, or is this where something's gone wrong?
Yeah, I'm wondering. It feels like we're well into Act 2 now. It feels like if we're going to do something off book, this is be the time to do it.
This is when I'm remembering what I said.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make mistakes.
Mm.
Like, if you look at the film, he travels in a straight line from the traffic site to his house in Venice.
Yeah.
So they know he's going for his daughter's birthday. They know where he's starting. Mm-hmm. They know where the straight line is. They know what his path is going to be.
Absolutely. No, that's true. So it would have to be a setup, yeah.
And of course, CRS tries for everything. He might get hungry. What food places are on the way? Oh, look, there's a Whammy Burger. We better set up some stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be a part of the setup. A beautiful part of the setup. Because, of course, the public in the restaurant are
still the public.
They're still the public.
It's just
the staff. Yeah, they know what's going on. Which is why they very carefully never antagonize him to the point where he points guns at people.
I just love the bloke who gets up and tries to wander out.
Where are you going? No.
But yeah, that plays out.
I love the way he does it like he's stealthy as well.
So that will play out the same way. And obviously, the burger is purposefully looking like a bit limp.
Well, again, you see, this is another character test. If you think about it, are you willing to put up with what you're told, or are you willing to stand up for what you believe, what you want?
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
a simple binary test. If you look at it from the CRS point of view,
yes.
It's a character test. Is that person willing to step up?
And in this case, he is.
Yeah, when he's been challenged for a stupid reason. Is he going to step up? Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was willing to do it. He's going to scare the Jesus out of those people. You imagine around the corner, there's somebody. When they all run out of the store, there's somebody who's like, yeah, here's $1,000. But of course, we won't see that. That'll be like flashbacks at the end.
Well, it did make me think that what we could do, if we want, we could do the flashbacks at the end, like you say. We could also cheek them in as the equivalent of outtakes that you get in the end credits. We see the setup.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one. Yeah, I like that one. It's always nice to have something to watch during the credits.
So that plays out as fun, and then we go to...
Yeah, so that takes us past Whammy Burger.
We're back with Prendergast when
Prendergast and Sandra having lunch.
And he turns up and he says about the guy stuck up the Whammy Burger.
And paid for it, and that's when Prendergast goes, tell me whether he was wearing X, and that's when Prendergast starts jumping in. And the next bit after that, of course, is Defense buying the unicorn, and the black dude outside, I'm not economically viable.
Yes, which is a wonderful scene.
It's a fantastic scene. So very fantastic.
Very quick thing, because I know I'm going to forget before we get to do this in movies actually, because that's a long way down the line. There's something about this entire film and about the way it's shot and the way it's colour graded. It has the same feel as the opening scenes, the opening half hour of Assault on Precinct 13.
Okay, interesting. It's been a very long time since I've watched Precinct 13, and I've only watched it once.
Okay. I've got it if you want to borrow it.
So, yeah.
But it quite nicely gives you that idea of that sultry heat of Southern California.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Everything is slightly desaturated.
But slightly desaturated, you get the heat haze a lot. You can, even when there isn't actually heat haze on the image, you feel the way it's shot and colour graded, as you say, feels like there should be heat haze on it. Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yes, so we get those scenes, and then the next bit with Defense is the guy with the phone booth, isn't it? That's around here? Which is the call when he actually speaks to... It's raining in the void.
The void? Okay, that's new.
Yeah, let's hope it's not acid rain.
And then we get to the Army Surplus Store scene.
Yes, which is the next big one that we want to have a look at, which will bring us up to the end of Act 2.
Yes.
So, again, it makes sense to the guy from CRS who's just been listening to stuff on the thing. Obviously recognises him. You get Sandra comes in, and all of that bit will play out the same way. Again, it's a small point, but just for our own edification, are the gay couple, are they actually just a gay couple, or are they CRS as well? Is it all part of the setup?
No, I feel like they are just people in there.
Yeah.
Which gives him a perfect opportunity to show off his
craziness, yeah. Cool. And then we, as you say, we get through to the bit where he kind of tries to convince him to his side of the argument. It goes wrong, smashes the unicorn, tries to arrest him, and then he pulls the knife and actually stabs him.
I always love that line. It's actually one of the samples that's used by Frontline Assembly on their album Millennium. They use a lot of samples for, and the very beginning of the album is, "We are not the same. I'm an American. You're a sick asshole."
Oh, I never noticed it before. I have got some Frontline Assembly somewhere.
And that line stuck with me. And so when I finally found the film that it was from, oh yeah. And then when you get to that scene, you could, oh yeah, that's why he's saying that. Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah, that line is imprinted on my memory. It feels good to exercise your rights, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we're saying that he stabs him, but is he going to? I mean, obviously, what happens when he shoots him?
Well, see, that's what I figure, is that he's already been set up with squibs because they expected him to get shot because he has a bag full of guns. They know this. They didn't notice that he hadn't dropped the knife at some point.
Now, the only thing with this is that if he's pulled it on the guy in the park, they know that he's still got the butterfly knife.
Ooh.
We would have to do that a different way. It could just be that they get into an altercation and he pulls the paper off him and leaves with it.
Oh, right, yeah, I see what you mean, yes.
Yeah, because I know we said that he pulls the knife and that's how he managed to get the pink slip back. We just need to do it differently, that they just have a scuffle and he grabs the paper and storms off.
All right, otherwise we kind of make a bit of a plot hole for ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's fine. What I'm saying is that he's already scribbed up, so that's, when he starts shooting, squibs are going to go off and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why he's so like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Because he actually has been stabbed, and he wasn't expecting that.
So the question is, how good is it? How good of a CRS operative is he? Is he going to break character or not?
Oh, yeah, no, that's a good question. I was going to say he's really good and he's paid a lot.
Okay.
But he's just been stabbed.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he says something. Like, it's just a fucking game, man!
Mm-hmm. Yes.
As he staggers back and then, of course, gets shot and has to play dead.
So for us as an audience then, do we see anything that suggests that he's not dead, or do we still keep following it through with Defense's storyline?
I think so, because we want to have, like, the reveal at the end.
Okay, that's
show
fine.
our hand kind of thing.
Nice. I like that. And that brings us to the end of Act 2.
It does indeed. Yes, we made it through the second act, folks. Hurrah!
This very, very nearly became a 6-episode month.
Nearly.
Somehow we've managed to make it. So please do come back and join us on Friday when we will be looking at Act 3 of Falling Game.
Falling Game.
And at the end, trying to decide which one we think should be our maybe movie for the month. Before I forget, I mentioned this earlier, very quickly. Thank you, Kenny, from Channel of the Living Dead, for your comment from last Friday's episode. Awesome. And damn, jealous, man. You got to meet Alex Winter. Very nice.
You lucky son of a... You're a lucky man.
Anyway, until Friday, take care.
As always, guys, TTFN.
Ba 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 ba.